some fireplaces. It's hard to carry on when you feel all alone. Now I've swung back down again. It's worse than it was before. If I had seen such riches, I could live with being more. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down next to me. Sit down, 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 down. Sympathy.
Evening, everyone. We're going to have a chat tonight about Arsene Wenger. Was he Arsenal's best ever manager? This is going to be a two-part show because there's actually, when I started doing this, I thought that's way too much to talk about in one show. So this is part one, and then part two will be next Wednesday, same time, 8:30. Because what this guy actually brought to Arsenal was, I think, quite special in where Arsenal were at the time, what needed to be done. So we'll get into it. I mean, Arsene Wenger, in my opinion, is a legend of a manager. Born in Strasbourg, October, France, 1949. Basically played an amateur career pretty much most of his life. 69, he joined AS Mudzik. Never heard of him. Then in 73 was when he sort of became semi-pro. Playing for FC Mulhouse. In 75, he joined AS Perrault Van der Brand Strasbourg. And in 78, his final club was as a professional was RC Strasbourg. In 75, when he joined the other team, AS Perrault, he never actually played a game. Unfortunately, he was there for 3 years, 75 to 78, and never actually ever played a game. But, you know, I suppose he didn't really have a great football career in the fact that he, you know, it was pretty modest, really. But in 1981, he attained his manager's diploma, had an unsuccessful period with the Nancy French team. 87, he joined Monaco. And in 88, 91, Wenger guided Monaco to win the Coupe de France Cup. And then he moved in 95, which was an unusual, strange move, really. Moved to Japan to coach in the J League side Nagoya Grampus. Now, when he was there, that is when, evening mama, that is where he sort of became known, I guess you could say it. He was being tracked at that time by David Dean, so Peter Hillwood at Arsenal. They knew they needed to move on from George Graham because of what had happened there. We had brought in Bruce Rioch, but there was a lot of discomfort around the club at that time. There was a lot of bad feeling all through the whole club, and it was a right mess, to be honest. So basically, there was a lot of negotiations going on because he'd won the Emperor's Cup and the Japanese Super Cup. So he started to prove that he was a bit of a winner. So it was being looked upon that, as I said, the fact we had issues at Arsenal, and David Dean was a very, very, I don't always agree with his philosophies, but he was a very shrewd man. And I could see from what I've read about and heard that he wanted to move through to actually get a winner. And that's what Arsenal needed at the time. We were, after the departure of George Graham, under what the cloud that happened, it was a sort of situation where we had this doldrum period. and things needed to be sorted out. When Arsenal was sliding down a very dangerous slope. You know, you had the Tuesday drink club thing going on, which was not a good look for Arsenal. I think there was issues also talked about the dietary things of the players. So Arsene Wenger, who had a very, very strict regime with his players in Japan, reportedly he employed the culture of Japanese philosophy into the training and dietary requirements of Arsenal when he actually did eventually join, because he believed that alcohol for the players should be banned from the Highbury and also at London Colney, the old London Colney. So 1996, he was appointed Arsenal manager by David Dean and Sir Peter Hill-Wood. Wasn't really greeted, to be honest, with much enthusiasm by the press or the players or even the fans, to be honest. You know, I remember when he joined and he was signed on as manager, I thought, who is this guy? You know, because obviously back then we didn't have access to all the stuff you've got now on social media. So it's like, who is this fella? What's he going to bring? Never heard of him. The only thing we knew about that he'd won a cup at Monaco, and then, you know, obviously nobody followed the J League in Japan, so it was a pretty unknown entity, really. So he joined in September 1996, right? Didn't actually take over management until the October, but he already had one iconic footballer at the club, Dennis Bergkamp, who'd been signed by Bruce Rioch the season before. So he was off to a pretty damn decent start there. Fair play. Patrick Vieira, another legend, joined just before Wenger arrived and took over, actually as manager in October 96, 97. But in his first year at Arsenal, Wenger got a third place in the Premier League, winning 19, drawing 11, losing 8 on 68 points, which was a pretty decent return with what state the club was at the time, to be fair. So nobody can actually knock him for that, but it was still then that the fans weren't overly convinced about this place. This guy, sorry, who is he? What's he going to bring to Arsenal? You know, but hey, you know, he was basically going to prove us all wrong, and he did in a very short period of time. Vieira scored his first Arsenal goal in December 96 in a 2-2 home draw against Derby County at Highbury. Again, a player nobody really knew a lot about. We knew about Bergkamp to a point as a Dutch international. At the time, Vieira wasn't a French international of any great significance. So everybody's like, why are we signing this player? Who is he? But again, went on to prove us all wrong. So his first season, Wenger ends up in third spot. So you can't knock that one. It's a pretty decent result for coming into the Premier League when you've got to compete against Sir Alex Ferguson, who at the time, the Man United teams, we all know about that. So it is one of them things. But even AFC, mate, good to see you, fella. But anyway, 97, 98, he achieved something quite incredible. Arsenal's second double. Yeah, Wenger being the first first foreign manager to actually win a double. And this was the Arsenal's second. No other team had ever done it. So all of a sudden, the Arsenal fans were suddenly thinking, this guy, there's something about him. The press fell in love with him. The players, obviously, their heads had been turned. They weren't. The thing is, but the players at the time were a little bit reticent about him because he was stopping their habits of, laid down the laws that no drinking, dietary, brought dietitians into the club at training ground at London Colney. They had a strict diet, and that was to be followed. Yeah, when they were not at training, or they had to follow this at home, because he had this regime that it's all fitness, mental achievement, which I get that. I get that. I see it, because what he went on from there with that philosophy was really quite incredible, to be fair. So we'll see what goes on. So he's achieved we've basically achieved our second double. A 1-0 win basically over Man United at Old Trafford. The Overmars, basically was quite something in that time. Really quite something. To go up there to Man United with the team that they had and the manager they had, to get that win was quite exceptional, to be honest. And we also had joined that season Mark Overmars, who was the only goal scorer in that game that won the game for Arsenal. A joy from Ajax. So this doing that enabled Arsenal to overhaul, with that 1-0 win, enabled Arsenal to overhaul a 12-point deficit. Because at the time it was looking like, well, that's it, Man United have won the league again. But what he instilled, what he brought, his tactics, his strong philosophy made Arsenal into a bloody decent team in his second year. Just saying, Arteta, second year he won the double. There we are. So Arsenal now have won the league at not at Old Trafford, but they won the league, and I'm sure there's a lot of people, I remember it specifically, and there's a lot of people out there will remember it. The great game, the final game, a home game at Highbury, beating Everton 4-0, and the great solo goal by Tony Adams, who is not, let's be fair, he was not prolific with his feet at scoring goals, but on that day, unbelievable. And right in front of the North Bank as well, he scored that goal, and everybody just went absolutely sodding mental. But yeah, the FA Cup final was at Wembley against Newcastle United. Sorry, Mama, but Newcastle United, they were very, very poor that day. Very poor. I was expecting a lot more from them, to be fair. Haven't got there to win a major trophy for the first time since, 1950 something or other, 53, something like that. They just never turned up. And that was a sad indictment for Newcastle United, to be fair. Arsenal basically actually tore them apart and went on to lift another FA Cup. And again, I mentioned the home win against Everton, the 4-0, to secure the Premier League trophy. Second double, couldn't make it up really. And that season was also the year Ian Wright became the highest goal scorer for Arsenal Football Club, beating Cliff Baston's previous tally. And he got that award. And I always remember when he lifted that T-shirt, with the goals. Unbelievable. But I also remember after the game, Cliff Baston had obviously sadly passed away many years before. But after the game on BBC One, they were interviewing his wife, and she said, quite outrageous, really. They asked her, they said, what do you think about Ian Wright taking your husband's goal scoring tally away? She went, well, my husband was a gentleman. And that was it. Never said no more. Just said, my husband was a gentleman. So what she was alluding to, I'm not going to say, but it is what it is. Big up, Andrew. Be up to you, man. So yeah, it's a bit a punch in the nose for you, old righty, wasn't it? Really. Neil says Arteta and Vinay is the polar opposite of Wenger and Dean. Yeah, bloody right, man. Absolutely. Yeah, couple of clowns. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say that I agree with everything that David Dean and Sir Peter Hillwood did. But the thing with them two, they were brilliant negotiators. They were able to identify great talent and brought great talent into the team, which made a hell of a difference for Arsenal Football Club. Whereas, look at what happens now with Edu and Arteta. We're already being linked to like this bloke from, was it Ajax? 22-year-old striker. Why? What was that about? Pointless. We need a seasoned striker. Seriously. Neil says Overmars was a great player, man. Mark Overmars, yeah, what a great player. Cutting in from the wing. Yeah, I mean, he was devastating at times. Dan says even his teams just after the Emirates in late 2000 were very strong. Yeah, unlucky not to win the league at least once. Well, we'll get on to that. Macy says Dean is a better CEO than Vinay. Well, Vinay is off, isn't he? He's going, thank God. But I think Garlic Head is taking over as CEO. So I don't know what's going to happen there. I really don't know what's going to happen there, to be honest. Macy said Omri is top class, is better than Jesus. And oh, mate, all day long. There's never, you can't compare the two. Seriously. You know, it's they're just two different classes of player. Levels, absolute bloody levels. Yeah, totally agree with you on that. J Rob Detailing Ireland. Hi, Jez. How good was Liam Brady back in the day? Absolute class, mate. One of my favourite players in my top 5. Loved watching that man play. AFC always, Jez, we won the double in 71, 98 and 2002. Which team was the best for me? I would pick the 2002. Yeah, I'd go with you on that one. I mean, the 71 team was good. Different style of football though back then. It was a different type of game. Grant McRoberts, even Jez, hope you're well. I'm very good, mate. Hope you are. Anyway, let's move into the 98-99 season. So Arsenal ended up runners-up for the first time since 1973. There you go. That says something. That the fact that we hadn't ended up runners-up in all that period of time, yeah, that's 25 years. And yeah, we'd had a pretty rocky road. Liverpool, of course, had been up there challenging all the time. Then Man United came in to actually just absolutely whitewash the Premier League, to be fair. So we've ended up second. Yeah, the FA Cup events ended at Villa Park. Of course, we all remember this in a replay against Man United. Teams at 1-1. Bergkamp gets that penalty and Schmeichel saves it. Come on, and yeah, that was the end of it. And then Ryan Giggs with that unbelievable solo goal where he just jinked through the midfield defence. Boing, bang, bosh. I mean, I have to say, even today, I still think that's an absolute unbelievably good goal. Yeah, didn't want him, obviously, to do that, of course, because it's the semi-final. And that, yeah, extra time as well. We were running down the clock and it all went horribly tits up. So, yeah, that, interestingly, was the last FA Cup semi-final to have ever gone to a replay. After that, they scrapped replays in semi-finals. It was basically extra time penalties. That was it. Basically, to stop, fix your congestion. Um, you know, so yeah, I think it's a good move because at the end of the day, there used to be times when you had. I remember the fourth round replay against Sheffield. Well, I think it was the fourth round, fifth round. Sheffield Wednesday at Filbert Street, the old Leicester ground. 5 games that went to. It was madness, absolute madness. Have the game and then basically replay. And if that replay is still a draw, go to extra time penalties. That's it. I know there has been talk about this, of scrapping replays in the qualifying rounds. I don't agree with that. I'll tell you why I don't agree with it. Right. If you've got a team, say, for example, I don't know, Crawley Town, right, who are playing Arsenal at Crawley Town's grounds, then that's big money. That's a big day out. If they get held Arsenal to a draw, they get to go back to the Emirates. Yeah, 60-odd thousand fans, of which they'll bring probably 20-odd thousand, I would guess. I don't know the capacity of their ground, but I'd guess it's around 15, 20, maybe. I don't know. But that's a massive payday for them. Massive payday. And if they were to get a result, which they probably would, because Arteta likes throwing the domestic cups in the bin, fair play to them. If they're getting half the gate, which they do in the FA Cup, then yeah, give them that opportunity. But anyway, let's get back. So the FA Cup, as I said, that's the last ever semi-final replay in football. They scrapped it shortly after that. Well, straight after the game, actually. So heartbroken without the FA Cup. Yeah, we finished up second, but hey, everybody is happy about that nowadays. Second place is a trophy now. Really? Yeah, okay. But Arsenal were now in the Champions League, but we were playing at Wembley because UEFA, under the new regulations of the revamped European Cup, now called the Champions League, they deemed Highbury needed modification for crowd control, blah, 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 and all that. So we were playing at Wembley. Didn't really go well, to be honest, in the Champions League, playing at Wembley. Yeah, massive crowds. In fact, Arsenal still hold the record for a home game in the Champions League of any club in England, which was against Lens, and there was a crowd of 73,707, and that is still a current record. It'll be broken one day, of course, but yeah. So anyway, Arsenal finished third in Group E and were out. So bit of a disappointment. Second, FA Cup semi-final failure, and go out in the group stage of the Champions League. So disappointing. Let's be fair. Disappointing. John Ray says, I had Overmars on my shirt back in the day. Fair play to you, mate. Legend player to me. AFC always says, Jez, have you heard that Arsenal will pay Arteta the most money at Arsenal of all time when he signs that huge bump? I haven't heard that, but huge bump a new contract. I'm sure it'll happen. I'm sure it will happen. So Neil says, funny how we have a vampire as CEO called Garlic. Yeah, isn't it really? A bit stupid. Will says, it depends on how you look at it in terms of playing style. Wenger had the flair. Graham had the defence. Graham won in Europe. Wenger didn't. For me personally, as I love defensive ball, it's Graham. Yeah, then this is a great conversation, great debate. There's going to be this show and then part 2 of the Wenger years. The part 2 is going to be when we move to the Emirates. So this is basically taking us up to the end of Highbury, right? And when we, basically in 2000, they bought the land, I should say, Ashburton Grove, the industrial estate there, to build the Emirates Stadium and redevelop the whole area, which was quite impressive, be fair. But, you know, that's for another show next week. So anyway, we're moving into the 99-2000. It was quite a season. If you think back, that was quite a season. Saw debuts from Omri, Silvino, Davor Suker, and Ashley Cole. Now, you just think of those players, right? You think of those players in our team now. Davor Suker, yeah? What an amazing footballer, yeah? Silvino, Brazilian, great player. Thierry Henry, well, I don't need to say anything about that man. And Ashley Cole, one of the best left backs ever at Arsenal Football Club. No question about that. No question. But we'll get into that one. Yes, that's a good question, that, Will. And that is going to be a subject of a show, actually. I'm going to do a comparison on, if you know, because I don't want to talk about it too much, but when you look at how long Jules Graham was here compared to how long Arsene Wenger was there, I'm going to do a show about, let's compare the two and see who was the best of the best. Hence why I'm doing these shows, and the second one will be next Wednesday. Dan says Omri was better than our present front three all combined. Absolutely, man, absolutely, no question about that. Yeah. The Gooner, big up, cheers, happy birthday, bro legend. Yeah, that's Friday, mate. Yeah, 63. I'm doing a marathon show Friday night. That'd be fun. It's going to go and go and go and go and go and go till we all fall asleep. Eddie Cefax says 1-0 at home to Lons 98-99 was a low point. Yeah. AFC always. Jez, to be honest, that was a poor penalty from Bergkamp. And yes, it was. It was shit, wasn't it? It was a very poor penalty. And Peter Schmeichel at the time was one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Can't deny that. Absolute legend of a goalkeeper, that man. I don't know why actually Arsenal never went in for his son. I don't understand that. We could have had him. But we didn't do it. It's the Arsenal way, people. Luke says, Henry to this day is the best Premier League player I've ever seen. That guy had it all. Yeah, absolute class. But I have to say, for me, it's a very difficult one. You can't compare the two players. But for me, it's Dennis Bergkamp, personally. Well, there we are. Steve says, good evening, mate. United hit the double twice. Yes, they did. But Arsenal got there first. AFC always. They should stop playing the FA Cup semi-finals at Wembley. I agree. It's all money, man. It's all about money for the FA. Yeah, it used to be, didn't it? Back in the day, you'd have Villa Park, or if it was two London teams, it was quite often somewhere like Tottenham or Stamford Bridge, for example. And so, it's all money, man. It's all about money. The thing is, I don't think the FA Cup now has the attraction, because if you look at TV now, I love the FA Cup. I absolutely love it. Even if Arsenal aren't in it, I'll still watch it. But you used to have a whole day of football. It was a whole day. It'd start like at 10 in the morning and go all the way through. And it was brilliant. There'd be replays of games, and there'd be following, all the players and what was going on, and it was a spectacle. It's not anymore. Disappointing to me. Disappointing. Will said, when I got what I never got with Wenger, though, is how he never did better in European competition. When it came to the league, he was relentless, but always came unstuck in the Champions League, apart from 2006. Yeah, I mean, Arsenal have always been crap in Europe, mate, haven't they? They've never been any good, really. I don't know. I don't understand why. It's very, 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 very frustrating. Eddie Cephas says, Steve Bold left end of 99. Big player. Yeah, absolutely. Total class player, man. Michael McVeigh, love listening to your stories about the old Arsenal days. I never had a chance to listen and see more of the games, as we never got to see them here in the US. Yeah, I mean, it must be, if you were a fan back in the day in America, it must have been bloody frustrating because you never got to see any games. At least now you get to you can stream them in the United States, anywhere in the world, in fact, which I think is for the betterment of the fans. Everybody, anywhere, basically. If you've got a TV or a phone or a console of some description, you can see the games, even though you may never ever get the opportunity to go to the Emirates because of costs and travel and all that. I still think it's a good option that you can actually get out and see on the TV the games, etc. Aces, Dan Potts is live now of AFTV. Julian Godfather Jez, you should jump on and have a chat with Julian now. No, thank you, mate. No, thank you. I've been invited on, and Dan's not that sort of inclined to do that sort of thing, and I wouldn't anyway. Jaminio, even Jez and chat, even Jam, hope you're well, bro. Just get through some of this chat. We'll get back into this. Suka had hat-trick in Euro 96 for Croatia at Hillsborough. Was brilliant. Yeah, he's a great player, wasn't he, David Suka? Bit of a bit part player when he came to Arsenal, but still did the damage. And I just liked his trickery in the box, to be honest. Absolutely, yeah, he was levels. Jam says, are you watching the Conference League final? Just nah, mate, I'm not interested, to be honest. I'm not, bro. I'm not interested in it. Massive shame didn't Aces says, massive shame didn't we win the UEFA Cup in 2000. Yeah, again, man. To O2 AMH, Jez, do you support Arteta? No, I don't. He don't win nothing, mate. Simple as that. I want a winner. That's fact. It's not personal. I just want a winner. I want somebody that actually wins trophies. That's what football's all about. Yeah, I know your opinion on Thierry Henry, Jam. I know that, but better not give my honest opinion on Thierry Henry. Good player, yes, but his handball ruined Irish football, and for that reason, I hate his guts. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, he did cheat. He did cheat, man. Yeah, I understand your passion on that one. Anyway, let's get back to this. So, we end up runners up. Wenger ends up runners up to Man United in this 99-2000 season. Again, up against the relentless Sir Alex Ferguson. And we end up third in the Champions League, Group B, and out of the Champions League again. So, Henry scored his first goal against Southampton. He went on to score, unbelievably, 26 in his debut season, 17 in the league, rest in the cup. He was just getting started, really. It was a warm-up. He was testing the water. I mean, this guy's coming to the club. And he's just, when I first saw him, I wasn't impressed, really. I thought, not really, not overly keen. I can tell you, a lot of people in the North Bank weren't overly keen and thinking, this guy's going to rip up all the trees and, this, that, and the other. It didn't look like that. And how wrong were we? There you go. Shows what I know. So anyway, let's move on. So, 2001-2002 season, Wenger wins his second double, yeah, scoring in every Premier League game, which was a first for any Premier League team. Every game, home and away, Arsenal scored in every game. Never been done before. Even Man United, the great Man United team, hadn't done that. Liverpool team hadn't done that. Although Liverpool at the time were on a bit of a decline, in fairness. But hey, and winning the Premier League at Old Trafford 1-0 with the goal from Sylvain Wiltord. Not many people talk about him. He was a bit of a bit part player, French, decent but not great. But he could do a job. He's a bit like, how can I compare him to? He was a bit like an El Neni type player. He would do what you asked him to do. He was never going to rip the place apart, but he scored. He did score the odd goal here and there. A bit like Antonio Reyes, rest in peace. Great player to a point, but never really hit that high mark. But it is what it is. He scored that goal. Arsenal win the league at Man United. Unbelievable. And then the following week, Arsenal are back at the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff and lift the trophy, excuse me, after beating Chelsea 2-0. We all remember that. Ray Parlour and Freddie Lundberg with the old red stripe through his hair, bearing in mind the season before we'd lost to Liverpool. So that made up for some dramas. But again, Wenger's second double. Incredible. So Arsenal now on 3 doubles. Yeah, only team I think I'm right in saying. I think Man United have won 2. I think Man City have done it. Anyway, anybody knows, let me know. Because I think I'm right. I think, is it Arsenal have only ever won 3 doubles, FA Cup and League? But I might be wrong. I could well be wrong on that one. So if anybody knows in the chat, please let me know. So anyway, we beat Chelsea at the Millennium Stadium. And that was an interesting day out, for sure. I did a whole show about, nearly a whole show about that. About what was going on with the Cardiff Soul crew, getting involved with Chelsea and the arse. But again, Champions League, Arsenal went out in the second group stage, finishing 3rd. So we qualified from one group stage and then we go out, which is a little bit gutting, to be honest. We keep getting into the Champions League, which, be honest, fair to Wenger, he always did. But we kept getting thrown out. Very, 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 very annoying. Can't deny it. John Ray says, the FA, it's a knockout was great fun. Yeah. I mean, hi, Mike. Within 3 years, the FA Cup quarter-final will be midweek in Saudi Arabia. Now, that would be disgraceful, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be a disgrace? But Jam says, speak of being crap in Europe, that 4-1 Europa League final loss versus Chelsea 5 years ago today. Yeah, mate. I mean, that was just an absolute disgrace, wasn't it? The team didn't even bother turning up for Emery. I mean, Ozil shouldn't even been on the park, man. Absolute waste of space. Andrew says 2006 Champions League, we got robbed by the referee. Yeah, coming on to that in a minute, mate. Absolutely, totally agree with you. 100% on that. AFC North is that AFC Netherlands? It makes me laugh when news supporters compare Rice to Vieira. Yeah, not sure about that one. To be fair, Asa says Arsene Wenger should have left after Hull City final. Totally agree. And that was a great cup final, wasn't it? That was a great cup final. Auto Snipes, old Arsenal is gone, but new looks promising. If they win, mate. If they win. If they don't, then what's changed? That's it. Fact. Wenger was a specialist in failure. I wouldn't agree with that all the way, mate. To be fair. He did win 3 Premier League titles and 7 FA Cups. So I think that's an achievement. The only thing is he failed in. But I had somebody say to me the other day, "Oh, but he won the Community Shields." Yeah, that's not a trophy. It's a shield. So let's forget that one, shall we? Neil says Wenger could have been the greatest ever manager. We won the Champions League and Europa League in 2000, but chose to be set in his ways sadly, and why Graham is above him with 7 trophies in 9 years. Now, this is going to be the whole subject, mate, of the debate I'm going to be doing about after I've done these Wenger shows and then the Graham shows, who was the best out of them? Because in the time period, that's something that has to be discussed. I think personally, I think it does. Game Jam, he was doing well at first. Good to see you, Danny. Hope you are well. Hope everybody's well in the chat as well. Mama says evening to Danny and Jam. Danny, he did good for ages and eventually dropped off towards the end. Fact. Yeah, fact. I think he just got too complacent, mate. Got a bit too control, especially when we moved to the Emirates, because that Emirates was part of his project. But there we go. It is what it is, man. Luke James, we will never forget about Martin Tyler commentary on that wall tour goal. No, it's great. I was actually at Old Trafford, but I've seen the replay of that game God knows how many flipping times. Luke says Wenger during his early years was quite brilliant. Yeah, he was. He was. That's why he got the nickname Le Professor. You know, he was unbelievably good. But I just think he got carried away with more being in control than actually managing the team, personally. Neil Gunnarsson, Wenger could have been the club's greatest ever manager had he won the Champions League, with him and a couple of titles thereafter, but sadly fell away, and why George Graham just pits him to that honour. Well, yeah, I tend to agree with you on that one. I do. Michael says, how much of Arsenal's problems at the end of Wenger's term were due to his coaching or the Arsenal front office? It was the Arsenal front office, mate. I think he just got too entranced in running the club. You know, he had his finger on the pulse all the time. It was almost like, to a certain degree, it was actually his money. When it, in effect, it wasn't. It's the club's money. And I think that's what spoilt it. Spoilt it for me, anyway. That's my opinion. You know, and it was that then that you could see towards the... We're going to talk about that next week, anyway. That's a totally different show. Eddie says, CFAX says, Francis Jeffers signing was first worrying. Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Very, very good point, mate. Franny Jeffers. Oh, dearie, dearie, dearie me. And there's a few others you could name in there as well, man. Stephen says, happy birthday, Jez. Happy birthday. Thank you, mate. But it's actually on Friday. Luke James, Neil Gunnarsson, that Champions League final still haunts me, despite Henry being a great player. He really didn't turn up that night. No, he didn't really, did he? Be fair. Had the option, 1-on-1, didn't he? Had the chance. Cocked it up. How many times would he have cocked that up in the Premier League? I don't know. Just saying. Tenny Moss. I don't know, mate. I'm not going to try and even butcher your name. He is certainly the most successful manager we've ever had. But best, Wenger made Arsenal global. He did. The Arsenal brand. That was it. Which is a point that I'm going to come on to right now. Yeah, smash the likes up, people. Smash them up. Vivas was pretty dead. Sir Alex Ferguson signed duds in his prime, so has Pep. No manager is perfect. No, I agree with that. They all make mistakes. I mean, you know, Antonio Reyes, he was, you know, he wasn't the best of the best. He was good. He was good, but he wasn't the best. Auto Snipe says, we need to spend big in the summer, but like on a striker, rather than using Havertz and strengthen the defence and back line for UCL, because it's embarrassing that quarters is the furthest we can get. Yeah, it is. I totally agree. That seems to be where we fall down all the time. It's the quarters, you know. And I find that a little bit annoying. I won't lie. You know. Graham won 6 trophies in 8 and Wenger won 7 in 9. Wenger won more league and cups. Graham won a European trophy. Wenger had better football and signed better players technically. Fair point, but it's about winning trophies. It's KSE's fault that Wenger fell off. They let him only sign Petr Cech. That killed him. Well, he did buy other players, mate, that weren't the level, just be fair. Arteta is a daddy-o. Rashford, his signs would be up there with Jeffries. Oh, yeah, please. No, not Rashford. Come on, man. Come on. Seriously? Is that the levels that we are? Really? Jeffers and Richard Wright were dead signings. Yeah, Richard Wright had great promise, didn't he, as a goalkeeper, but never really hit the mark, did he? So Alex signed Djemba and Cleverson around the same time. Shit happens. Yeah, it does. Nobody's perfect, man. Big up, Dow. Hope you're well, bro. Dow, if you're around, I think you're doing the American Idiot show Friday night, I believe. But I'm doing a marathon show with Lee and Northside and other people. So if you want to jump in at any point in time, just let me know and I'll just say yes or no and I'll get you set up with a link on Friday. All right, mate? Even Doubt says, Tony. Right, let's get into this then. So now this is a controversial season. It is for me anyway. Very controversial. 02, 03. That badge appears. Right? Upset a lot of fans, I can tell you. Not happy. Because they turned the cannon from facing west to facing east. Why is it facing east? Controversy here. Controversy. Right? And they got rid of the Latin Victoria Concordia Crescent. Now, apparently, stories are out there. Yeah, it was to placate the new areas of football that Arsenal were marketing in because Latin was not accepted. And I think this is a bullshit comment myself. They turned the cannon east to face the east. And I'm saying no more about it. And you know what I mean by that. So the traditional club badge behind me, that's been removed. Victoria Concordia Crescent is gone. Lots and lots of fans were very, very upset about it. But it is what it is. There's nothing we could do about it. And Arsenal, Wenger took Arsenal to second, right, behind Man United, another FA Cup final at Cardiff, and Wenger won another FA Cup. I mean, let's be honest, we were pretty bloody relentless in the FA Cup. Beating Southampton 1-0. It was a really poor cup final. It wasn't great. But again, Arsenal went out in the Champions League second group stage. So we're not really doing that well in Europe, are we? Be fair, but we're in it. Arsenal are earning big money from the Champions League, qualified into the second stages, but it's North London. Beg your pardon, my friend. I was referring to new Arsenal, comparing Patrick Vieira to Declan Rice. In my opinion, no comparison. Totally agree with you. Absolutely, totally agree. There is no comparison, man. Absolutely not. Not at all. Luke James, hi, Doubt. Big up to Doubt. Evening, Luke, from Tony. Neil says Sylvester's stunning signing from Manchester United. Yeah, what was that about? That was a piss take, wasn't it? Loghead Yeti's cave, be up, Jezza, glad you're not wearing that Spurs shirt. It's not a Spurs shirt, fella. And but thanks for sending them links today about those shirts on Amazon. Thank you for that. I'll pass that on to the boss. Ireland Mike, where did you sit on signing Sol Campbell, Jez? Were you for or against? All four, mate. free from Tottenham, decent player, absolutely decent player. I was all for it. Actually, at the time, didn't really know a lot about it. To be fair. So there we are. Mike Haroon, the fact that Wenger always flopped Europe puts Graham ahead of him. So this is it's going to be an interesting debate, this, right? There's a lot of people saying it's Wenger, a lot of people saying it's Graham. So when I do that stream, it's going to be an interesting comments in there. I'm going to get a couple of other Arsenal fans in there on that one as well to talk about as a debate review. Who is the better? Who is the better? Because it's going to be an interesting debate, that's for sure. We can't sign Rashford. We're not a rehab centre because of these dead rival club signers. Not more of Louise, Willian and Havertz. Yes, mate, absolutely. I've had enough of it, man. We've got to be progressive. You know, go out there and actually prove what we want. Yeah. Del Boy Gunner TV. Good up to see you, Del Boy. Go and support Del Boy Gunner TV. Top fellas. Big up, Jez. Hope you're good, mate. I'm all good, man. I am all good. Aces Jez Lee Gunner emergency stream on Arteta new contract tonight. Yeah, it seems to be a lot of emergency meetings now. You know what I mean? I don't know. Rashford didn't get in our side over Trossard or Martinelli. Exactly. Saka outscores him now. Rashford is a Wolves, Palace, Brighton, Villa, Spurs level baller. Fact. Fact. It is. Mama says, I'm sure Jez knows that. I do. I did, Mama. Sorry, I should say that. Arteta is the daddy. Isaac scored 21 Premier League goals. Havertz, Jesus and Nketiah scored 22 Premier League goals. Sesko, who has been linked, scored less Bundesliga goals than Undav, who couldn't cut it at Brighton. Well, this is it, isn't it? This is it. This is the whole thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? What annoys me is we just sometimes don't show enough ambition. And I find that a bit annoying. I won't lie. You know, it's except second best, except second best, except second best. Oh, maybe that's why we finished second and second. I don't know. I just find it a bit frustrating. Anyway, so we move into the 03-04 season, that is. Arsenal go invincible. Only the second team to achieve that feat in Football League history outside of Preston North End in 1876 or something, wasn't it? So that was quite an amazing feat. You can't deny that. To go unbeaten all season just showed to me this was Wenger at his peak. This is where Arsene Wenger was now. He's right up there. And to achieve that was legendary greatness, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I mean, the 9-8 penalty shootout against Rotherham in the League Cup was also, ironically, another thing in that season. The first ever penalty shootout at Highbury Stadium in all the years. That was the first ever penalty shootout. And also in that game, there were 7 new debutants in that game, which was a record at the time for Arsenal Football Club as well. So it's quite an incredible season. You know, I mean, we got lucky a bit at times, but still to achieve it is quite something. You know, you can't knock it. So we all know what happened. The gold trophy presented to Arsenal by the Premier League, and quite rightly too, in my opinion. And I thought it was actually quite justifying when Arsene Wenger decided, when he did go, when he did quit Arsenal, it was given to him, gifted to him as recognition of what he had achieved that season as the Arsenal manager. But it's still actually at the Emirates, even though it was gifted to him. His respect for the club was that it should stay at the Emirates football ground. So respect to him for that one. You know, that I think is just shows what level of a man he is. I mean, I when it was all going off about, oh, he's got to go, he's got to go, he's got to go. I used to say to people, be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. I know we weren't the greatest and things needed to change. We did. It was we were on a slide, weren't we? But in respect to the man himself, yeah, I didn't disrespect him, but I knew that he was going to go. But who were we going to get in? Personally, when Unai Emery came in, I was quite happy. I thought, yeah, this guy's a winner. And then that all went wrong, and where we are now. So, hey, who knew? But also, you know, it was another season, Champions League, Group E, unfortunately, losing. We got out of Group E. First time qualification on that scale. But unfortunately lost to Chelsea in the Champions League. So that's that season done. And then, of course, we've got 04-05. I'll do through all these comments first before they run away. Longhead Yetis Cave, most of your fans wouldn't know what way the Cans face, to be honest. No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't, mate. Asa says, should have retained the double in 02-03. Well, there was a chance, wasn't there? But it did go a little bit tits up. Happy birthday, Wilson. Happy birthday for Jez for Friday, Jez. Have a glass of red and us. Cheers, man. 170 Gunner. Are you out because of Lee? No, I don't follow Lee like a little kid, right? I make my own opinions, mate. And the reason I make my own opinions, and I respect your comment, thank you, is I'm 22 years older than Lee. So, actual fact, I don't actually follow anybody's whatever they think. If they want to think that, it's because I see how it is with that manager. And I'm sorry, I don't think he'll ever achieve any greatness at Arsenal Football Club. It's not personal. Not personal. I just don't see it. I'm sorry. You know, there we go. Super Tuesday, Arsenal went downhill when Wenger sold Vieira out of the blue. He kept the real reason secret. Rumour has it that Wenger hit on Wenger's mistress. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know. But, hey, could be. I don't know. Don't know, mate. The experimenter guy, we should go for Isaac and Lino, a front three of Saka, front three, do you mean? Of Saka, and the other two would be world class. Personally, mate, I'd go for Elise at Palace as well. I think that bloke is legend. And yeah, as Yeti says, I don't think Isaac's going to go anywhere. Personally, I think he's a developing club, and I think he's going to be more than happy to stay. Hi, Jez. What do you think of Paul Davis back in the old day? Yeah, great player, Paul Davis. Yeah, absolutely, proper player. You know, hard as nails he was. He wasn't the biggest of guys, but he's a proper player, man. There's many a player will come out and you telling them he's broken their shin pads in the game. Hi, Mike. Rashford, he is not much better than Nketiah. No, absolutely. Don't want him. We nearly went invincible, 42 games. Yeah, and Arsenal beat you. Beat your record, mate. Sorry about that. Just got to say, man, and I'm going to take that. Yeah, he's a gold star for the Arsenal. We broke your record of going unbeaten. So there you go. Hang about. Sorry, I missed that. Where's it gone? Bloody hell. Dazza 944. The impressive thing about our unbeaten season 03-04 was that the fact Wenger said we'd do it at the end of the 0202. Yes, he did. He did say that, didn't he? He did say that. Yeah. We will go unbeaten. Yeah, I remember. Ian Beale, not the best manager, Jez, but he gave me so many memories. Controversial, Jez, but I don't think he enjoys the early success he did without inheriting the back four from both Don Howe and George Graham built. Yeah, it's a good point. That's a very good point. Very good point, actually. But Mike Haroons is at 170 good at Jez is Arter out because he has a high standard for this once great club. I do, because I've seen us win great things. I've seen us achieve greatness. So that's why I'm there, man. Eddie Seafat's brilliant kits in Invincible season, including the yellow and blue away kit as a nod to the past. Yeah. Why have we got rid of that? Why have we got rid of the yellow and blue? That was always the traditional one, yellow and blue. And now it's all these quirky green and blue ones as a third, or black, or I don't understand it myself. I hate messing about with history like that. Just stick to it as it was, you know. I mean, they've changed the badge again this year with just the cannon now. Well, if you're going to do that, just put the cannon back the right way, facing to the west, as it was back in the days. Yeah. If you're going to do something, do it proper. Fair play to Wenger, still went for the cups. He did. All the cups. Ian Bill, what's your thoughts on my previous comment, Jesse? I said that, mate, that not the best manager, but he gave so many memories. Absolutely. Yeah. And the fact, I totally agree with what you said about Eddie, Don Howe and George Graham with the back four, was quite a legend. So there we go. Well, it's nice. What can Arteta do to get to cup finals rather than getting knocked out early? If Man United can get 3 cup finals in 2 years, what's wrong with Arsenal? Buy the right players, mate. That's the fact. We haven't got enough depth. Do you know, I was actually reading today, yeah, that in the Invincible season, Arsenal's Invincible season, right, he played 24 different players throughout that season. 24 players, because that's the depth of the squad we had. We haven't got anywhere near that now. Nowhere near it. Jokes. Absolute jokes, man. So, yeah. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Del will go to TV. Out of this squad, what player would Wenger make captain? Out of this squad? Oh, that's a good question, mate, actually. Do you know, I'd actually go with... I would go like he did with Patrick Vieira. Second season, I'd call it Declan Rice. I think he's got more nous, more ambition than our current captain Udegaard. Personally, that's my personal opinion. But we'll see, won't we? Well, I had tried to help you get a star, Jez. I'm getting bored waiting. Yeah, I know, mate. Granite Xhaka says, good to see you, Granite. Wenger wanted to leave the club before the stadium rebuild. A lot of corruption was happening at the time. Is that true? Is that really true? Because it was part of he helped in the design of the stadium, didn't he? He was part of the design team. So I don't know. It's a good point, though, if that's the truth. MS Hussein says, I'm blessed to witness Henry at Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners. Yeah, absolutely. We were very lucky to have him. Lee Bush, Champions League at Wembley was due to advertising. It was the experiment to test if we could sell out 50k plus. It's also to do with the touch lot to the pitch width, wasn't it? It was a little bit under UEFA guidelines, a little bit too narrow. But it is what it is. So anyway, 04-05 saw Wenger win another FA Cup against Man United in a 5-4 penalty shootout at the Millennium Stadium it was a ball fest final, wasn't it? Both teams were basically negating each other, but Arsenal got it over the line. So it's another FA Cup, right? And of course, we finished second to Chelsea that year. Chelsea winning their first title forever. But it was the Chelsea team that was about to change. And then, of course, was the infamous Pizzagate at Old Trafford, which was a bit laughable, to be honest with you. Arsenal lost 2-0. Wenger lost the plot with Sir Alex Ferguson, and it all went tits up from there. And Wenger got a 10 grand fine for that by the club, and he was actually going to get a 12 match touchline ban, but he got away with that on appeal and was fined by the FA as well. And it was basically, well, so that was that eventually. End of story. But again, Wenger, he's pushing the club as much as he can. You have to respect him for that. I have to respect him for that, because at the end of the day, he's pushing the club all the way. But again, in Europe, we finished top in Group E in the Champions League. Saw Arsenal in the knockout stages again, but went out to Bayern Munich 3-1 and 3-1. Was it 3-1 and 3-1 or 3-1 and 1-0? So there you go, Bayern Munich, our nemesis. But yeah, it is what it is. So we move on to 05-06. Arsenal finished fourth, the lowest they'd finished under Wenger since he joined. So was the writing on the wall? Don't know. Interesting. Was it the time? And no silverware at all. Didn't get to anything. But Wenger had got Arsenal to their first Champions League final. And we all know what happened there. Absolutely cheated, in my belief, Arsenal were. If you want my honest opinion, we were cheated by the referee. No way should Jens Lehmann have been sent off for what happened. I think it was a bloody disgrace. Alan Almunia came on, who was a decent keeper, but he wasn't Jens Lehmann. Thierry Henry wasn't on the money that day, that is for sure. But Sol Campbell, rise like a salmon, bosh, goal. But we're playing 10 men against Barcelona, a Barcelona team, by the way, that at the time was unbelievably good. So I'm sorry, yeah. To me, we got cheated out of that. We were far the better team, I think, squad-wise. But Barcelona were a very, very, very good team. And it still really angers me to this day that happened. I'd love to question that referee. I seriously would. Whilst I've got his ears pinned to the wall and asking the question, you cheated, you bastard. Anyway, there we go. Granit Xhaka, yes, Mr. Arsenal, David Dean and Wenger wanted what's best for the club. Alisher Usmanov and Gazidis, along with one more person, tried to ruin the club, so they were forced to sell it to Kroenke. Well, Kroenke wanted the shares, didn't he? So yeah, it was an easy sale, unbelievably. Sorry. Yeah. Lee Bush, first 10-year Wenger team, Seaman, Lauren, Adams, Campbell, Cole, Vieira, Petit, Overmars, Pires, Bergkamp, Henry. Now, that's a pretty shit team, isn't it? You know what I mean? I mean, what a team is there? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. There's not many teams out there. Man City wouldn't beat that team. Liverpool wouldn't beat that team. That was second to nobody. Seriously. Liam Kay says, Fabregas, the culprit, my baller. I don't know quite what you mean there, my old mate, but not sure. But yeah. Anyway, that pretty much brings us to the end of this particular show. I'm going to go through the comments. Abel says Arteta is a trophy winner, but the nearest to Pep. But is a trophy winner, but the nearest to Pep. So next season, probably Arsenal will be the winners. If not, then we need to change. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with you. How long do you accept failure? That's the thing. So, you know, do you go on? How long do you go on before you say that's enough's enough? Yeah. Mike says at Granite Xhaka, I believe it. If it wasn't for fan pressure, we would still have Wenger now. Basically, had to be hounded out. Yeah, it was. It was the fans that got him out. In the end, fans not turning up. There was fans fighting in the stadium. You know, Wenger ins, Wenger outs, protests outside the ground, blah 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 blah, and that's what got rid of it. That's what will get Arteta out in the end. It'll be when the fans turn and say enough is enough, and when the Cronkies see the fans not turning up, boycotting the stadium, they're not spending money. It's hitting them in the pocket, which was what happened with Wenger. Yeah, then they'll do something about it. Until then, he'll be here. He'll be here. Don't you worry about that. UCL at Wembley was due to Highbury reduced capacity for advertising. It allowed to survey if you could justify increasing capacity or move. That's true, mate. I'm not disagree with you on that one. Aces says Arteta getting £10 million in new contract is scandalous. Absolutely. Why? What's he won? What's he earned that for? Ravi, big up, mate. Jez, respect and smash the likes up. Yeah, smash the likes up, people. I always forget to say that. Granite says Mike Haroon this time had to come. It's just that the board screwed him over and never backed him either. True. Vincenzo, good evening, mate. Hope you're well. Good evening, Don Jez. Good evening to you, my friend. And MS Hussein says if this Arsenal team had sold Campbell, Vieira, Henry, we would rape the city. If we had those players, mate, it would be a totally different club. Totally. Their mentality, their skill levels, man. Absolute levels. Ravi says, Jez, until the club and fans demand nothing more than a winning mentality, nothing's going to change. Exactly. Ravi, but you and I know that I'm a Liverpool fan. Yeah, I mean, Lars says, how about the bench, Jez? Well, we've got a shit bench, mate. And we know that's what we got. It's what we got to change. He doesn't trust his bench, does he? You can see him at games. He's looking around at the bench thinking, oh, Christ, who am I going to bring on? And that's his fault. That is his fault. Most of those players, he's bought. Yeah, most of them he's bought. So I'm sorry. You have to look at yourself, Wenger, in the mirror and have a serious word with yourself, right? You know, it's your problem, fella. You bought them. Auto Snipes, what can Arsenal do to get over the line and win the Premier League? What did Wenger do to achieve it? He bought good players, mate. It's simple. You buy good players, right? Yeah, and you win things. If you buy shit players, then you don't win things. Buy rejects, right? Chelsea rejects, you don't win things. How much longer are we going to keep doing that? Simple. Ravi says, Jez, the club missed a trick not getting you down to the Arsenal club tour, getting you down to do the Arsenal club tour. Mate, there's people there far better qualified than me, fella. You know the club like the back of your hand. You are a real deal when it comes to all things Arsenal football. Yeah, but then again, fair play, respect. Thank you for saying that, Ravi. But you've got Charlie Jules there. You've got Liam Brady there. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, they're ex-players, mate. So they know I know a lot about the history, but so do they. Cracky, so do they. They know shed loads about the history. Luke James, I saw a discussion earlier, Jez. The question was, if we win the FA Cup and finish third next year, what would we say? Would we still moan about it? I want a trophy. I want the FA Cup. Look, let's put it this way, right? If we're in a title challenge next season, right, and we end up second again, but we win the FA Cup or we win the Champions League, which we're not going to, so I'll be sensible, and I'll say the FA Cup. I'll say I'll accept it, but it's not what I want. But silverware counts. I would stick my neck out there and say, if he went all out, right, for the League Cup, the Carrier Bag Cup, and won that, I'd say, nah, not good enough. I want the FA Cup. Go the next step up. Go for the bigger trophy. No disrespect to the League Cup. I'm not saying that, but go for the next big one. Right? Fact. But at the end of the day, my head tells me that, but I'm being sensible. My heart says to me, if he doesn't win the league next year, sack him. Fact is that. Arteta is a daddy-o. Where was the nonsense of youth products come from? You win nothing with kids. You need a blend of youth and experience. Facts. Great comment. Very well said. Very well said. I like that. Kroenke's out after Euros and Copa America. We are straight to USA for meaningless friendlies. Pre-season used to be about training. Yeah, well, yeah, that's good. Yeah, okay. I'll throw this one out there. Shirt sponsor, left arm, visit Rwanda. Why aren't Arsenal going out to play in Rwanda? Just ask you that. Why? There's not enough money in it. Because out in the States, they can sell 100,000-seater stadium. They'll sell them out at stupid, like $200 a ticket. So, there you go. Says it all, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, we've got, a 20 million odd a year sponsor in Visit Rwanda. Tell me how many of these players have been out to Rwanda. I'd love to know. Vincenzo says, Don Jez, what do you think of Rashford? Trashford, mate. Don't want him. Not good enough. Not good enough. Don't want him. Trouble. And he wouldn't get on with... Look, the thing is, Arteta likes yes men. He wouldn't get on. That would be another player that after 6-7 months would be... You wouldn't see him. He'd be training on his own. You know what I mean? What happened to Aubameyang? Because Aubameyang called him out. Didn't go along with his regime. End of him. See you later. We get rid of him for nothing. Barcelona sell him to Chelsea, make money out of him. Oh, interesting. Rohit says, met Big Wens in Bombay, India, and never would have thought I wouldn't have to leave my city to meet him. Good up to you, mate. Proper gentleman, actually. Martin says, what's your opinion on the signings made by Wenger? Of course, they were some amazing ones, but there were more misses than hits. I think in terms of the previews at the club. Latter days, I agree with you. And let's get it right. He didn't sign Bergkamp. Vieira, he didn't sign. He was already on his way. Vieira had been signed by David Dean. Yeah, Henry he got. And then you can go on about Overmars, Pires, all those great players. At the peak, latter day, I will agree with you. I will agree with you on that. That I just think he got too power crazy. If you want my reason, and they had money, Tony. Arsenal have always had money. That was. Don't fall for that excuse, mate. Don't fall for that. Oh, we got a stadium to pay for. La 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 and all that. That was all bullshit, man. They had the money. It was all there, right? So I'm not falling in that one. MS Hassan says, Inshallah, we will win next year, third time lucky. Well, I hope so, because he'll be here. Oh, sorry, mate. One thing about Wenger, Neil says, we played some of the academy kids. He did, yeah. I remember he played Gnabry in the Champions League at the age of 17. Yeah, look what do we know about him? He's done all right, hasn't he? Oh yeah, sorry, Tony, I misunderstood, mate. Sorry, I was talking about Rwanda, Jez. Yeah, good point, mate. Yeah, I agree. Why aren't we playing out there, mate? Not many names left. He meant no money in going to a Rwanda, I think. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're not interesting. Arsenal are not interested. All the Cronkies aren't interested in going to Rwanda. Because on that American tour, right, we're playing Liverpool, Man United, right, and somebody from Europe. I think it might be Real Madrid. I'm not sure. Right, how much money are they going to earn out of that? How much money is the club going to earn out of that? The American fans will be there, and good luck to them, paying silly amounts of money for a ticket. So they're not going to get that money back by going to Rwanda, are they? Let's be fair. They're not going to be able to sell a ticket in Rwanda for like 150 quid. It's never going to happen. Yeah. So that's why they're going to go to America. Earn more money. Just saying. Does that money come into the transfer fund? Be interesting, wouldn't it? Granit Xhaka, Havertz cost 130 plus million, including his wages. With Trash, it's closer to 270 on such poor. Yeah, mate, come on. 400 grand a week he's on, that Trashford. Yeah, we ain't going to pay that. And I hope that will stop any nonsense of even considering buying him. Ravi says, Jez, why is the club brainwashing the new generation of fans that finishing second and being reward manager of the season is acceptable? Yeah, but let's get it right. That reward of the manager's thing of the season was a minor, inconsequential bloody thing from abroad. Nobody's interested in that. It's all bullshit, man, isn't it? All bullshit. But I agree with what you're saying. I agree. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah. Rohit says, met Philippe Sendros as well. They were on grassroots football development trip to India. Got a photo clip, got my jersey signed. Sendros was really nice and got him to open my bottle of Perrier. Nice. Perrier water, is that, I guess? Is that Perrier champagne? I don't know. Tony says, it's a shame, really, because you never see Premier League clubs go to Africa to grow the game because money isn't there. Fact. How many diamonds in the rough athletes are hiding there? Well, look at how many. There are quite a few good players that have come out of Africa. Let's get it right. Let's get it right. You know, there's been quite a few who've made it, but ain't no happening because the money ain't there. Anyway, I'm going to wrap that up here, people. My throat is going. Thanks for watching, everyone. And the last comment I'm going to do. Rabbi says, Jez, just asking, are you going to buy any new merch? No, I won't be buying any of the Liverpool gear. They are ripping people off. Mediocre looking shirts with big money. Nike done us dirty with designs. I won't buy anything, mate. The only thing I get is if it's bought for me, like my birthday, maybe Friday. I don't know. Might happen. I don't know. But MS Hussein says we need Neto. Yep. Go with you on that one. Big up, Mama. Good to see you in the house as always. The top mod that is. Brilliant stream, Jez. Thanks so much. Thank you, Mama, for watching. Extra time in Conference League final, is it? Fair enough. Okay. Eddie CFAX says, cheers, Jez. Cheers, man. Thanks for watching. Thanks, chat, as well, says Mama. And respect Jez and the chat. This is quality. This channel is quality. Thank you, mate. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting, as always. The ref Diego Costas. First time in 15, I didn't renew my season ticket. Tired of it. They can ballot it. Oh, anyway, out, mate. Oh, mate, this ballot thing. Seriously, I could do a whole stream about that, just about that ballot thing. It's an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Yeah, as Mama says, smash the likes as you leave. And I'm going to do the outro, people. And we are out, and I'll catch you all later, and I'll see you Friday night if you're about. Take care, all. Sleep well. See you soon.